Clashing tonight at the last great Coliseum, the Icon Cup Series moves on to date number 30 this evening, taking on Bristol Motor Speedway. 4 drivers are on the chopping block and desperately need to jump up in the standings to stay alive. Welcome to Pit Stop TV and the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV. I've got Mason Houseman alongside this evening, and it's a pleasure to join you for continuing coverage of the 2024 Icon Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Bristol is brought to you by Whiplash Simcams, by ATVO, and by CC's Business. We'll join these drivers in the last bit of daylight before the sun sets and we go racing under the lights in Bristol, Tennessee. Bristol has long been one of NASCAR's best, most exciting racetracks, and Mason, as qualifying begins, we can talk a little bit about this racetrack. Half-mile in length, really high banks, and that concrete surface that has been so divisive in years past.
Yeah, this place is a monster on itself. You know, the low line is the fastest line here as of right now. I know it used to be the top line. A lot of people would qualify up there. But as we see Thompson go the fastest lap, this place itself is just a monster.
Cameron Thompson picking up in qualifying. We will break straight into the session here, and we'll talk about points and schedule here in just a little bit. But with qualifying happening and starting up, we'll go trackside and take a look at who's fast and who is looking for some speed. Charles Woods now out of the top of the board in car 98, and that Chevrolet is looking good today. Cameron Thompson bumps to second, Sean Purcell third, and more times come rolling in. There's Charlie Widener across the stripe. Car 95 moving up to the top of the board. Nathan Brzezowski at the bottom. Other drivers on track going to include Kyle Diaz in the 26. Diaz will come across the stripe at about a half lap and complete his fourth lap, actually, so his laps did not count for Diaz. He will have to start from the rear. Other drivers hitting the racetrack, Ray Lane making his first start. Going to roll out onto the speedway in car 41 as Ryan Patty goes fastest.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It seems like a lot of guys are running that either top line or right in the middle. You know, as we see Lane going around the top side. He's going to run the middle up to the top. It looks like they're trying to arc the corner a little bit as we see him get into it. Let's see what he says. He's going to the bottom. 14.5 for his first lap. 2/10 off the leader. Yeah, and I personally think the bottom is the fastest lane around here. You know, qualifying is very important around here. If you can save that right front from overheating a little too much, that is a fast lap. Holy crap! A 10th off the second place car.
Yeah, 10th there over Kyle Terzak for a moment. Terzak then goes a little bit faster, but will stay second. Ryan Patty goes third place. Jacob Gladulich now on the racetrack in car 14. We'll see what Gladulich can do on the power hard as one of our playoff drivers. You'll see playoff drivers noted in yellow, non-playoff drivers noted in green on the timing ticker on the left side of your screen. So Gladulich on the racetrack. On board with him there, that's lap 1, a 14.519. That's pretty standard. On lap 2, though, we'll see if he can go a bit faster and try to break a little bit further up the starting order. Right now, 15th place. Lap 2, Gladulich across the stripe, going to be a 14.401. That'll bump him from 15th to the 11th spot, moving Evan Patinko down one position and others along with him. Only a minute left in qualifying, and Cody Neal is sitting on the pit lane, I think, waiting for his perfect time to strike here. Mason, you're one of the fastest drivers in the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series. We talk about you Tuesday in, Tuesday out. Why would a driver potentially wait until the last moment here in qualifying?
Well, as of right now, you want to get to its best peak time. You want that sun to go down even more. If you can get at that time where it's just a little bit cooler than the other guys, you might be able to set a faster lap time, because these tracks, they can get hot, as we see, it's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. And you know, I personally like this idea from Neil. You know, it being a little bit of sunlight there and letting the sun go down. This is perfect. As we see him running the bottom, it was a little too high up there. I would say, yeah, stick to that bottom as he runs the top there, and see for his first lap. 14.3, that's pretty good for a first lap.
Yeah, I think lap 1 he ran a little higher just to get the run out of turn 4. We'll see what he does here on lap 2. a little ways down the racetrack, but he is running a little bit higher than a lot of drivers have run so far through practice and qualifying. It's a 2:26. That's not bad. That's going to be good for third spot, so pretty quick for car number 4, and I think that paid off, waiting until the last second there in qualifying. He had it down to a science. He had just enough time to turn that lap, and then the session ended, and we'll move into warm-up. I want to talk about point standings before we go racing this evening, and a look at them here. You can see we've moved the red around, so you can see everybody on the right side is in red because they are out of the playoffs. And towards the bottom of the left side, oh boy, they're starting to get into the red down there. Charlie Widener, Kevin Gunther, Cody Eldred, Zach Lockett, they are in the red right now, trying to stay alive, trying to tread water and get back into the blue, if you will. The blue numbers there for the points compared to that cut line. Gladulich is up by 1, Widener and Gunther down by 1, Eldred down by 5, Lockett down by 10. We've only had one race in this round of 12s, Mason, and definitely these points are a little bit early in the round to really know what's going to happen, who's going to end up where. A lot like in the NASCAR Cup Series, one race into a round, there's still a lot of moving to happen. This, though, the middle portion of this round of 12 is going to sort these guys out, I think, pretty well into their final resting places almost for Kansas next week. Do we see one of these drivers go for a win? They have to, right? They have to try and get up there, maximize those stage points, and go for a race win. If you're not in the top 4, you've got to try it.
Yeah, and you never know what's going to happen at these places. This place is crucial. Last time I raced here, I got wrecked out in the very first lap, and I dropped so many points. This place is a crucial place to gain points, but it's also a place where you can lose many points. So I would say you're going to see a lot of these guys on the bottom go for a win, because Kansas, you never know what's going to happen there. It's a long track. It's draft dependent. You have fast corners, and a lot of things could go wrong. But this place, a lot more things can go wrong. So I would expect to see a lot of these guys fight their way for a win, but not push the issue too much because they still have to worry about Kansas.
Kansas will be an interesting one next week, but Bristol in the foreground here in the windshield. We'll see what we can do this evening. Drivers to watch for, I think, certainly are your top 4 in the standings, but also Kyle Purcell has been really, really good lately. Watch for him to try and go for something tonight. Adam Ball might take some chances. Joshua Clemens might. Jacob Gladulich, we see him often try different things at stages. Maybe he pulls a different strategy, is able to get some stage points and move a little way further up above that cut line. Charlie Widener, Kevin Gunther, they absolutely need to do something. Cody Eldred, Zach Lockett, it is go time for these guys in the red right now. We'll see what happens over the course of 300 laps here this evening. And on that note, the fact that we are running 300 laps here, we can take a look at the schedule and see how many laps we're running at all the races this season. 300 this evening at Bristol, 160 next week at Kansas, and you see kind of now where this race fits into the grand scope of things. Talking about how it is the middle of this round of 12, Mason, boy, it is smacking a really difficult part of the schedule. Watkins Glen a week ago, Kansas in a week's time. We just went through the hellacious round of 16 of Daytona, Darlington, and Atlanta. Oh man, then there's really no time to relax because Kansas has been one of the most exciting racetracks in NASCAR as of late. Talladega is a plate track. You've got the Charlotte Roval at race 33. Then Las Vegas, it's going to be a lot like Kansas at race 34. Miami might be the only kind of calm race that we see from this bunch, and even there we're going to see drivers either way down low or way up top, just like they are this evening at Bristol. It's going to be one of those kinds of races, and then Martinsville and Phoenix. There's nowhere for these guys to relax. It is keeping them on their toes all the way through the end of the season.
Oh yeah, exactly what you said. People need to be on their toes. You know, Watkins Glen is always you never know who's going to win race. Bristol, honestly, is also one of those races. You could have a guy from the very back of the field could come up and win it because everybody up front gets damaged in some way. And Kansas, you know, seeing how everything has been going this year, Kansas has been a beautiful track for on-track action. And going into the next couple of rounds, I would 100% agree with you on the Miami stretch. You know, seeing Talladega is always a wild card race. You could either finish on the lead lap in first place, or you could finish 16 laps down and never have anything to worry about. But I would put my pick as Charlotte to be a good race. You know, that could be a race where a lot of people could win it, or a lot of people could bin it, because going out of turn 4 on that track, I could break a lot of toe links.
I like that. Win it or bin it. I haven't heard that one before, but I like that a lot. Well, that's enough about the schedule and whatnot. You see cars on the racetrack wrapping up warm-up session here. The weather conditions have changed slightly. The track temp is up a little bit. Air temp is down a little bit. It was 68 in qualifying, it's 67.7 now, so a really minute difference. That track temp going up with cars on the racetrack is pretty interesting as we'll roll into our Whiplash SimCam's race details. You see on the bottom right of the screen, 300 laps, 75, 150, and 300 for the stages. The stage lengths themselves are 75, 75, and 150, but we'll have those stage breaks at the completion of lap 75 and the completion of lap 150. The fuel can take these guys for quite a ways, even at a 60% fuel capacity. We expect, let me edit it here, 100 to 110 laps to a tank of gas. So plenty of fuel to go around for these drivers, even at a 60% fuel capacity. Really no concern there. It's going to come down to tires. You and I were talking about it a little bit pre-race, Mason. It's going to come down to tires and when you put that last set on and how far you're able to stretch these early sets.
Oh yeah, this place is insane on tires. If you run that bottom, your left rear is going to get hot, it's going to get loose, and you're gonna be fighting the car a lot. But if you go to that top, you're gonna change it out and go to your right front, and you're going to be tight all around. So no matter what, I would maybe go every other lap, maybe, so you can equalize out those tires, so you don't have to worry about it. But like you said, only four tires available for these drivers tonight. That's an insane low on Bristol, because you could wreck it and you could lock up, and those tires are going to be really hot, or really worn by the time you go back to that green flag. So
well,
that is seeing a lot of drivers.
That is 4 change sets, so that's 16 tires in the pit lane technically. I want to take a look at the grid right quick before we go racing. On pole this evening, we're going to see Ray Lane in car 44. It will be 41 on the racetrack, making his first start there in the 41 car. Kyle Turzak will roll off from second, making his first start. Cody Neal will roll off from the third spot in car number 4. It'll be Ryan Patty from position number 4, and it looks like Ray Lane's going to the rear of the field. Charlie Widener, Charles Woods, that's row number 3. To complete your top 10, we'll find Kevin Gunther, Cameron Thompson, Sean Purcell, and Joshua Clemens. We're going to roll a little further through the field and just take a look briefly at some of these positions deeper in. We see Brad Delph, Jacob Gladulich, a playoff driver, Evan Patinko, a non-playoff driver, Brock Hersey, an eliminated playoff driver, Thomas Taylor, Robert Bluen back here in row number 8, and a lot of drivers did not qualify, so it'll be a lot of drivers sorted by the iRacing metric in the rear. We'll let iRacing do its thing in that regard. Cody Neal then going to lead us to the green alongside Kyle Turzak. Neal inheriting this top spot as a result of Ray Lane going to the rear of the field. Unsure as to why, but there's a reason for it for sure. And the 27 cars, we're going to roll into the Geico restart zone and be on our way. Green flag is out, and a big problem for Cody Neal off the start. One lap complete out of 300. Kyle Turzak, the race leader out front in car 15. You've got the 30 of Ryan Patty second. He's a playoff driver. He needs to be up here. He joined practice late, went straight to the bottom of the board, and is now working higher up in the second spot. That's Cody Neal in third, Charlie Widener in fifth, Charles Woods in fifth.
Oh yeah, and this is exactly what I expect a lot of people to do. Is we see a car on the apron. I wonder what happened there. But this is exactly what I was expecting. A lot of people going to the bottom. I think that bottom line is going to be running perfectly as we see Patty set the fastest lap of the race. A lot of people are going to run that bottom, but as the race progresses, I would expect to see a lot of people go to the not as worn line. Ooh, as we're getting loose off the corner there, to the high side, as we see Turzak doing that right now.
Yeah, Turzak working the top, Patty working the bottom. Now Turzak switches it up, goes down low and blocks that bottom line away from the 30 car. Kyle Turzak is a well-weathered short track driver. He's really got a lot of short track experience. So for him to run this race makes a lot of sense, and it's going to be a pain in the side of these guys, a thorn in the side of Ryan Patty and other playoff drivers that need points here. Going to be a lot of fun to watch how that ends up meshing this evening, as Ryan Patty stays right on the back end of Kyle Turzak. Now, Some notable drivers not in the field going to start, and, well, caution's out. We'll talk about that later, I guess. Charles Woods in trouble. A lot of right rear damage on the Purple Heart Homes number 98.
Probably see if he's got a. I don't think he's got a totally broken off.
I'm going to look back as to what happened for Charles Woods and others out of turn number 2, I believe it was, this next time around. Out of the corner here, Brad Delph, and Brad just kind of came down the racetrack. Charles was there, and then Charles backs up across the racetrack. That's scary.
Oh my gosh, that is a scary moment for all drivers because you got nowhere to go on that track when that car's coming up. Especially, I don't know who was on the top there, but wow, we got to get a view of that.
A lot of playoff drivers were sitting right behind this crash, one of them being Nathan Finnegan in the 6 car. Take a look at his onboard as, oh, well, actually, he was past it, thankfully. So he didn't have to worry too much. I think it was Brock Hersey that nearly hit that spinning 98. We'll take one more look back. And watch from Brock's onboard perspective. Yeah, that's close.
Woo! Oh my God. That is insane. You don't want to see that as a driver. You never want to see a car coming up that fast at you. And I'm surprised there wasn't really much contact there. He did beautifully to make it so he limited any sort of contact there. But I would definitely say we'll see the 98 here get a little bit of damage repaired. I don't think he should take tires right now, being 7 laps in. He didn't really have to lock him up as bad, but we'll see.
So a pit stop here for the 98, and yeah, you're right. He's not going to take tires. Very smart to save that set. It would be a big disadvantage to take that set this early. It'll be, looks like repairs only. Maybe some fuel in the back of the car. And he'll roll out into 27th.
And the damage here at Bristol doesn't really affect your car as much. It's when you start to get that right side damage that your car starts to get a little tight. I mean, I guess it is in the right rear, but I would definitely say I think he should be fine here. Maybe a little bit of looseness coming off that car, but I doubt it'll affect him that much, being this early in the race.
The field has doubled up and is ready to go racing this time by. There's a look at your race leader, Kyle Turzak, who started this race in second. Got the lead right away with a problem for Cody Neal in the background. Let's see what they can do here on this restart. Into the restart zone and back green flag at Bristol Motor Speedway. Turzak down and away quickly off the restart. He leads us back around to the start-finish line and completes lap number 12. Cody Neal's in the 3rd spot. You've got a battle now for 4th. Kevin Gunther is going to take that spot away from Charlie Widener. Widener now falling victim to Brad Delph, who was just involved in that crash in the backstretch.
And you gotta be careful on those turns because for some reason this track has a really bad on your peripheral vision, and coming into those corners it's really hard to see if there's another car there. So if you get any sort of loose or coming off the wall any type of way, car on the inside will not know it. And as you saw with Brad Delph, it caused the incident.
A couple of cars in trouble in the back, but everybody stays moving in the right direction. You see some very close racing through the field. Boy, these guys are on each other as Kyle Turzak, then Ryan Patty goes fastest on lap 15 of 300. These guys up front using their tires early. I just love these static shots. Watching these guys battle like this is so much fun.
Oh, it's beautiful. And you know what? Another beautiful thing is to see 2 wide at Bristol. You love to see it, but in that driver perspective, I can tell you right now, their hearts are beating. You don't know what's going to happen as we see a driver go to the middle there. That was pinch him down a little bit there. That's what you need to do around here. You know, this track's really hard to make friends on. You got to use the entirety of the track to make it so you can make passes around here.
A shot
Just a
there
little
from,
bump there.
yeah, from Clemens up to the 99 of Robert Bluen. Now Clemens gets a little free off the corner, and one car, Chase Lewis, down to the inside, is going to come back across the racetrack, and I thought he was going to wipe some people out. He hangs on to the car, it looks like. The 84 falls down to the 21st spot. That was scary for a moment. Glad nothing worse happened out of it.
Yeah, that was perfectly saved. You know, that could have caused many drivers to have to take any type of repair there. But he did a very, very, very good job on keeping that car down. What you see on the side here.
Newcomer, driver 22, Travis Gilbert, moving through the field here, working into 6th position, and he will go by Charlie Widener for it. Widener now going to fight with Nathan Finnegan, who gets free off the corner. Finnegan just saves that race car. A little further behind, Robert Bluen starting to hold up that outside line. He's getting some contact from behind. That was Sean Purcell moving him up the racetrack, and Cameron Thompson works down low.
Oh yeah, this is getting interesting as we see Bluen holding up that outside, like you said. Oh, as we see oh my gosh. Wow, that was Sean Purcell. That was a very sketchy move for this early in the race, but he did it well. He did it well. I will give him that.
Cody Neal has moved through to the 2nd spot. Ryan Patty falling to 3rd, but we stay with the midfield battle here. Robert Bluen, Cameron Thompson, Josh Clemens. Clemens in the playoffs, needing to go forward. And it's a spinner. Thomas Taylor around, and Kyle Purcell was involved. He's going to end up turning Adam Ball. No caution yet, but Ball just went into the pit lane. That's going to be a penalty.
Yeah, he's going to get a penalty there. You got to make sure that even if it's going to cause your race, you can't get those penalties. I don't know if they have race control here, but if I was race control, I don't know if they're going to call that. Ooh, there's caution now.
Caution is out. Oh man. It's a chance for us to breathe. That's what that is.
That was some crazy racing back there behind the top 5.
Trying to find where this caution might have come out.
It was not an admin throwing caution, so there must have been an incident on the track, unless iRacing thought that there was a driver going too slow and they could have called that.
I found it. Oh man.
Brian
Smith in trouble on the outside lane, turned head on into the wall. We finally found where this crash happened. We'll get a look back at it one more time. Let's see. So Brian Smith there in the 78. Robert Bluen on the outside. Smith bobbles, comes up the racetrack, and yeah, Bluen was still there. That's your points leader, by the way, in the 78 car, getting involved in that crash.
Oh yeah, and that's prime Bristol there on the bottom. I was saying that earlier, that inside can get a little twitchy and get a little loose. That's a prime example right there of what that inside can do around here. And wow, he's got that's the damage I was talking about, that right front damage. He's got a lot of scrapes, and a lot of dents into that. I would expect him to get some damage repaired there. No tires. I would definitely say no tires still, but.
And as you would expect, a lot of the leaders will stay out on the racetrack here. Turzak, Neal, Patty, Gunther, Gilbert, your entire top 5 stays out. There are some takers, though, deeper in the field. Charles Woods comes out of the pit lane here. Cody Eldred works out of the pits. Looks like fuel only for Eldred. Robert Bluen now going to follow. Kyle Purcell in the 01 takes service, and I think this might have been damage repairs for car 01, where he was involved in a bit of a scrap midfield. Car looks okay, and one of the better drivers that is not in the top 4, the big 4 if you will, has an opportunity to get back up on the saddle and try to take control of his race here at Bristol. It's difficult to do, very difficult place to get control of your race.
Yeah, that's for sure. This place can take out many good drivers as we come around 3 and 4 here for green flag.
2 early cautions. Lap 30, though, will expire this time by. That's 10% of the way through this race. It'll be car 15 on the inside lane. Kyle Turzak with the race lead. Green flag is back in the air. One car slow, that's Logan Romney in the back of the field. Everybody else stays moving the right direction. He falls all the way back to 26th position. One car in the wall, didn't quite catch who that was. Might have been Cody Eldred up there on the top side of the racetrack as Brian Smith tries to come from the back to the front. Here's Brian Smith's onboard. 23rd position now in car 78. That's a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he is driving this thing hard right now. I would be expecting him to be racing these guys with respect, but pushing to the limits right now because you gotta show people why you're first in points, and I think that's what Smith wants to show us right now. He's got speed in that car, that's for sure.
11 wins on the season, almost made it 12 last week, was involved in an incident with Vincent Loria. Loria not here today. That's that point I wanted to bring up earlier when the first caution came out. Loria not here, going to have to rely on a lot of his points that he's accrued over the course of the season and might be around that cutoff line after today and heading into Kansas next week. You see the onboard here with Brian Smith. He moves up now right behind Kyle Purcell. That is good for 20th position, and he'll dive to the inside now of car 01. Up front, Cody Neal in the second spot, Ryan Patty in third, Kyle Turzak continues to lead, and Travis Gilbert, another playoff spoiler, moving forward through the top 5, is looking up at third place.
This is a great drive from him. I don't know exactly where he started in the race, but all I've been seeing is him coming up through the field, and you see him making an inside lunge right there. Will he get by Patty? Oh, Patty's gonna get that run off that top. I think these two are gonna pull out here unless Gilbert sends it through the corner and kind of does a little slide job. But I would assume that Patty would the run off the corner. I mean, Gilbert's gonna get that run on the inside, but Patty's
Patty
touches the wall there. Wow, that's a hard hit. You don't want to be doing that too much.
He did more than touch the wall. He really knocked it down off of turn 4. He comes back at Gilbert, though. Tries to get back to the 22 car, who started 19th in this race. But Patty, I think, fighting an uphill battle. Going to have to now move to the bottom side. Gives a big shot there to the 22 of Gilbert. Hits the wall. I don't think Patty is happy with the way he's getting raced. And certainly not happy with the fact that he is 4th, sitting behind 3 non-playoff drivers this early in this Bristol race. He does not want to be in this position at all. This is a not catastrophic moment for him. By any means, he's still your top playoff driver, but this is just not what he wants to have to be dealing with.
Gotta be careful right now. The iRacing does have progressive damage, and if he keeps on touching the wall like that, he's gonna break the right front toe. I know a lot of drivers at Bristol tend to do that because they don't understand that that's what happens. As we see Joshua Clemens coming in for tires, that's an interesting call, but it may work out for him.
Well, there's a lot of right side damage to this 44 car. I'm gonna bet that he was putting the wall pretty hard or got the wall pretty hard. Yeah, he's battling a toe link is what's going on there. He might be in the pit lane for a while.
Yeah, and that sucks around this place because these laps are so short, and you know he's probably gonna be many laps down, and that's one of the worst feelings down this track. It's super hard to get them back as drivers keep going a lap down as the race progresses.
A look at what happened here to car 44. Was racing with Thomas Taylor. Thomas hooks him. Oh my gosh, a non-playoff driver hooks a playoff driver into the wall, and Clemens is a cut line driver as well. So this is a catastrophic moment right here for Joshua Clemens. You see the car was just never the same after the fact. He's really been battling a lot of damage, and he's now 6 laps down. Counting.
Yeah, he's gonna have to put all of his money down on next week. You know, I don't expect him to come back all these laps because there's gonna be laps coming down. But I've seen crazier things on iRacing. But I would expect that he's gonna have to put all his marbles on next week.
Robert Bluen falls a lap down. Travis Gilbert now is moving to second ahead of Charlie Widener. Well, yeah, Charlie Widener, but more importantly, ahead of Cody Neal. Charlie Widener now the top playoff driver. He runs in 4th. Ray Lane runs in 5th here. Remember, Ray Lane went to the back of the field here on the start. He went from 1st all the way back. He qualified 1st. Started from the rear of the field, is up now into 5th position and looking for more as Ryan Patty knocks the wall down again in the background. He is having some struggles.
Yeah, I think he might have worn those tires out a little too much fighting. We're seeing that because causation of tightness on the car, and I think he wore out that right front fighting with Gilbert. But I will say, Lane is driving the wheels off that thing right now. I would be expecting that he'd be one fighting for the win tonight.
Brad Delf, Sean Purcell, they fight back here. This is the first side-by-side fight on the racetrack. And here comes Brian Smith looking for stage points. He's a little ways back right now. Worth mentioning as, you know, you're new here, Mason. I'm sure a lot of NASCAR people, even if there's some NASCAR fans here that are new here watching this evening, they're going to think stage points means the top 10. Well, unfortunately for the drivers placed 6th through 10th, that's not the case. Stage points of the Icon Cup Series are only paid out to the top 5. It's 8 to 1st, then 4, 3, 2, 1. As there's a caution, Cameron Thompson's in trouble.
Ooh, big car upside down.
Charles Woods on his lid.
What has happened there? And we see, ooh, he's got a left rear toe link broken. He's not gonna be able to go anywhere.
That's Cameron Thompson with the broken toe link. He is gonna be stuck, and he will have to tow to the pit lane. We'll get a look back at what happened here. With the 7 of Thompson, Gladgelich in behind just kind of hooks the 7 car around, and Thompson, held the brake but a little bit late.
God, that is a hit. Oh my gosh. Charles Wood, wow, that is a hit, and he's gonna have to tow. I mean, he's already in the pits, but that's gonna be a rough ending for that. As we also see Thompson in the pits because of that left rear toe link being broken. That was a little bit too much of a send by Jacob Gladgelich right there, but it's Bristol, you know. Sometimes breaking points are different.
Yeah, Gladgelich just had a little bit of a run on the inside and carried it into the left rear of the 7 car. We'll watch this next replay from the onboard of Cody Eldred, who is a playoff driver involved in this crash. He's going to be the driver that more or less flips the 98 of Charles Woods, as there's a lot of drivers, by the way, taking to the pit lane. We'll cover that here in a moment. You see Woods just smack into that 7 car. Eldred ends up flipping the 98 somehow in some way, but we'll get up to live pit stops here happening before our very eyes. Kyle Turzak stays out. First car in the pit lane, though, is going to be, I believe, Ryan Patty, actually. He was down and away quick. Brian Smith also pits. Ray Lane going to pit. Cody Neal pits. Nathan Finnegan.
I'm wondering if these guys are doing this right now, since there are laps left in the stage. It's 54 laps, so when we go to green, there'll probably be around 19 laps left in the stage, maybe 18. So I'm wondering if these guys are coming to the pits now, taking tires, getting fuel, and maybe coming in after the stage to just get a splash and keeping their tires.
I think that might be the play here. Get these tires now so you can make a faster stop at the stage break and get some track position there and try to defend. Unfortunately, I don't know how beneficial that's going to be, although it might pay off here in stage 1 as Ryan Patty's going to go to the rear of the field behind Cody Eldred and all. That leaves some 8 drivers on the racetrack who have not pitted, actually 7 who have not pitted at all. 2 of the 9 that stayed out under this caution have pitted recently, those being Adam Ball and Kyle Purcell, and it seems like they may have taken tires. There's a lot of old tires out front and some new tires coming from behind.
Yeah, and I like this call by Widener. You know, he's 1 point below the cut line. You got to get every point you can get, and as you said, top 5 get paid playoff points, so he is loving life right now.
And there's no other playoff driver aside, well, hang on. Now, Adam Ball is in the playoffs, and he is now in the top 5. He's the only other playoff driver in the top 5 that would earn some stage points if the stage ended now. Let's see what happens here. Coming to the restart zone, Kyle Turzak, Travis Gilbert out front. Green flag is back in the air. Turzak and Gilbert get away. Widener in third, trying to hold off Chase Lewis on the outside. Lewis will go by, and these are stage points fleeting away from the 95 car as he gets past.
Yeah, he needs to kick in emotion. He needs to be aggressive here. You know, this is a race that you need to have, because Laudowich, you know, he's coming his way up through the field. He's fighting for a spot with Laudowich right now, and you know, Gunther, he's probably going to be fighting his way up there too, trying to see if he can get some stage split, because he's also one under the cut line. This is a moment where Widener needs to step on it. He needs to start getting a little bit aggressive.
Oh, 3 wide. Brian Smith to the bottom, pokes his nose to the inside of the 95 car, gets him loose, and moves the 95 out of his way. Brian Smith is seeing red, flying back through the field now into 4th spot. Cody Neal moves into 5th rather, and Chase Lewis is headed the wrong direction. Brian Smith, who knows, he might have just enough here in 10 more laps to drive to the front and win this stage.
This is interesting by him, you know, getting in a couple incidents before and all of a sudden come back through the field. This is a drive right now. I think Gilbert should be looking at his rearview mirror saying, how in the world did you get back up here?
Again, those 11 wins for Brian Smith do all the talking for the 78 car. He's going to go right on by Travis Gilbert like he's standing still. And this is one playoff driver who is not taking no for an answer. He's going to go up here and get stage points and then some. He goes right to the inside of Terzak and is going to take the race lead away. Unbelievable drive out of the 78 to come from the back of the field all the way through and to the race lead. This shows the importance of tires, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's that. I have been totally corrected by the tire move. You know.
Terzak!
Oh, that's a hard hit to the outside wall. I hope he does not have totally broken there. It seems like he doesn't, but he might have a little bit of wheel damage there.
Here comes Finnegan to the inside of Ray Lane. Finnegan on some brand new tires. Lane as well. It's good to see Finnegan bring the fight to these new guys that are out here just spoiling this race, but unfortunately Lane will drive away through that corner and start to put work here in on the 4 car of Cody Neal. Just 5 laps to go in the stage.
Brian Smith got a little loose up there, bringing these guys a little bit closer, but I don't think we got 4 laps left in the stage. I don't think anybody's got anything for him. You know, Cody Neal and Lane right now are fighting hard for second, so I would expect to see Brian Smith win this stage.
A little deeper in the top 10, you see Adam Ball, Kevin Gunther, and Charlie Widener all battling. These positions unfortunately pay no stage points, so they will not earn anything for it in this stage at the very least. And out front, there you see Brian Smith leading the way. 2 laps to go now in the stage. Cody Neal trying to hang on a second.
Yeah, that's a send by Lane going down, and no, Neal's gonna have the run there. But if I were Lane right now, I would take the 3rd. I wouldn't be fighting too hard. You don't want Finnegan to catch up to you guys. No, I would take where you're at. Track position's crucial around this place, and you're gonna be able to make that decision. I'm expecting Lane to have a little bit of aggression, probably want to go for it.
There we go. That's the end of stage 1. Brian Smith across the line. Ray Lane smashes into the inside wall, it looks like. Did he get it? Or did he hang on to the car? It looks like, okay. I don't think he got the wall. I think he was just able to hang on. I thought for sure that was in the wall for the 41.
Yeah.
But he just hangs on and hangs on to 3rd place as well on the stage. And that takes an extra point away from Finnegan. Finnegan only able to gain 2 points out of this. It's 8 points for Brian Smith, and I think we can relax on the Brian Smith story. I think he's got plenty of points, so the stage win only helps bolster that, as we'll see now a split strategy here on the pit lane.
Oh yeah, and Brian Smith and Nathan Finnegan, they're just only increasing that points gap. You know, the only 2 playoff drivers to finish in the top 5. You know, they're gonna increase their 53 to the good and 47 to the good points gaps, and I would expect these guys to only take fuel, but you know, I could be not understanding exactly what they're trying to do. So we'll see how it all plans out for these guys. Oh, as he's taking tires. Oh, okay. So, but that is.
Well, Smith took tires earlier to get to this position, so it kind of makes sense now to get some tires at the stage, I feel like, and have these tires set up for the length of the stage. See Gladulitz run through the pit lane. No service taken for the 14 car. Kyle Terzak in the background. By the way, that was 2 for Smith. It's just 2 right sides. Huh.
Yeah. Was it left or right?
Was it left?
I think it was only lefts. I wonder if he only took rights at the last caution. I was looking at it and I was really confused by lefts, but he must be thinking something different than I am. I could be totally wrong here, but I thought it was only lefts.
It was lefts. Oh wow.
No, maybe that is the call, because that left rear does get a little worn out once you start running that bottom the entire time, because you're putting a lot of pressure on it. Well, maybe these guys were thinking a little bit out of the box.
That, or he already took rights, as you said. Comes in for the lefts now to even out the set. Well, he won stage 1, so we can talk to him. Let's dial up driver 78 here in just 1 second. He's down there with the KU Motorsports bunch of Josh Clemens and Cody Neal. Let's dial up our stage 1 winner. Brian, you took 2 left side tires. What's the play?
Honestly, I don't really know. What do we have, a 15-lap run there? I figured I'd throw the rights on and see if I could get, at least some stage points. I definitely didn't think I'd win it, but obviously I did. So I have no idea how this thing's going to drive now. It's a little banged up, and yeah, left side's only on that stop. We'll see what happens.
We'll keep it quick here because I see you're going to green this time. By how about these new drivers? How much of a pain are they right now?
It's just Bristol in this car. Everything's so tight. But yeah, it looks like we do have some fast guys in here tonight. So it's just going to be a matter of staying patient and staying out of wrecks.
There you go, Brian Smith, stage 1 winner. Congratulations. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yep, thanks, guys.
We'll let Brian go back to work here as the field comes around turn number 4, and we'll go green one more time. Waiting on the signal. There it is. Green flag for Ray Lane. One car working off the pit lane. That's Cody Eldred. Your top 5 gets single file all the way down through Turzak now in 5th. Everybody getting single file early. It's Lane, Finnegan, Patty, Smith, and Turzak, your top 5. Then Gilbert, Purcell, Gladjulich, Neal, and Lewis, your top 10. Turzak going to work underneath Brian Smith.
Yeah, and that's I think it's gonna be hard to pass Brian Smith now. He's got that car dialed in, but Turzak, he was up there for the longest time, so he could notice something other than these guys. But right now, that's a scary car to see up front. Lane has been fast all night, and being a newer guy, he's really bringing it to him. Finnegan has made his way through the field, finishing the stage points last time. Patty has been up there. I think Patty is. I think he's gonna lose his tires. Running that top, you're gonna lose that right front, and it's gonna cause him like how it did before the caution in stage 1. He was falling back in the order.
Patty goes to the outside here of Nathan Finnegan, trying to go by his teammate in the 6 car. Gets held up that time down the straightaway and bumps the 6 into turn number 3 as Brian Smith and Turzak fight. Smith on the outside, Turzak down low. Turzak makes the pass. Here comes Gilbert now in the 22 car as Brzezowski is slow in the background. There's Brzezowski. He's going to get back going.
I wonder if he just got loose off the corner and went to the inside to make it so he didn't cause anybody else to get damage.
On board with the 30 of Patty. He got the wall that time in 1 and 2, as you mentioned. A little better at it through 3 and 4. Going to have a run here on Finnegan, but holds steady. And he's got Turzak trying to go by on the bottom side as... Oh, man, these guys are just so close right now. And Lane has backed up to the 6 car. I don't know if that's intentional or not.
I don't know. I wonder if Lane's maybe trying to save that left rear a little bit more, but it could also be Finnegan as a little bit of pressure from Turzak behind him and his teammate Patty touching his rear end every time. As Patty's going to go to the outside here, and Lane's going to be forced to the top here. I would expect him to get the run off the corner and beat him off. Yep, exactly what he did. We see Turzak coming into the group, and we see Smith coming back up. Now we got 6 cars up here that are fighting for this lead right now, and I would expect a little bit of chaos to start happening here soon.
These are your top 6, your race leaders, as Patty gets on the left rear there of Ray Lane. Turzak all the way to the inside, just hangs on to the race car. He will fall back now to chase Lewis. Patty, though, still going to work on our race leader of Ray Lane. Ray Lane making his very first start of the series, not just the season, but of the series. Racing here at Bristol, started from pole and, well, qualified on pole, started from the rear of the field, not sure why, but it's got a lot of speed in that 41 car. Patty, though, trying to take the race lead away. Brian Smith there waiting in the wings. Smith fires to the outside of the 44 car, and boy, we are making moves here up front.
Yeah, and I could be completely wrong about the inside. It seems like the outside line is just setting it so much better for these guys right now. As we see Gilbert look a little bit from Smith. I wouldn't expect him to make that pass, but he's going to send it into turn 1. See if he can get the run off the corner. I think Smith's going to have the run here, but
Smith pulling up on Patty now, second place, looking for first. There's Gilbert all of a sudden to second place on the inside. Travis Gilbert making moves. Those yellow rims working right around the bottom side, and suddenly the bottom is faster than the top. I think the top is good for about 10, 20 laps, and then it just falls away.
That right front is crucial on these cars. You know, these walls are really compact, and you see Gilbert just barely get in front of Patty. He's gonna have the lead here. Yep. I would start to expect a lot of these guys running the bottom to start getting faster than the guys running the top as the right front starts to degrade.
What a bizarre race so far. Brian Smith now to the inside of Ryan Patty looking for second place. Patty doing a little better job this run of not hitting that outside wall, as here comes Chase Lewis out of nowhere.
Yeah, as soon as you said Patty is not hitting the outside wall, he absolutely clobbered the wall.
Oh, he got it there again.
Oh, that's going to be big damage there.
Gets it again there in the center of the corner. Patty almost gets the wall there. 3 wide, Turzak on the inside. He backs out.
Yeah, smart call by Turzak.
Patty wall again. Finnegan crashing in the background.
Right
Car 6.
Oh,
absolutely smashed by Moore.
Oh.
Big crash here, and Eldred going to get into. Oh my gosh, we're still hitting cars.
Wow. Back her down, guys. Back her down.
The leaders are coming around now, and these guys are still parked trying to get back going. Turzak smashes into the wall there. Leaders have to come to a stop.
Crazy. I don't know how many cars were involved in that. Wow, that is a lot of damage on that car.
Finnegan's done. The right rear is not doing anything for him.
Yeah, this is gonna be a night ender right here.
Get a look back at it. He was racing with Cody Neal for what looks to have been the 5th position. And Cody Neal down in turns 3 and 4, I think, is going to get into him. Right about like there.
Yep. That's just the.
And Purcell had nowhere to go. And then, oh my gosh, Adam Ball comes flying in. And these guys had nowhere to go initially. The last wave of cars is the ones that had no excuse really to be in that crash at all, and came flying. I think that's gonna be a couple of penalties for sure on Tuesday. Let's watch this again.
You need to be heads up on this stuff. A lot of drivers are having different moments in their head, but I would say right here these guys need to be backing down. But I do see why they hit them. They just didn't have any room. You know, people coming up fast, and it's just as Batinkle almost got a little bit of hit there on. Jesus.
It's this bunch that's okay. They were still flying at race pace. It's this bunch that did not need to be in this crash. Robert Ballou, Cody Eldred, Stephen Tuck, that just came in there a little too hot. And Adam Ball's destroyed.
That's a night ender right there as well too. There's a lot of drivers that got big damage on these cars right now. Ball's car kind of looked like he was trying to run like a late model setup. That right front was just stuck in the. Wow, that is a hit. Yeah, that is gonna get contact. Oh,
Kevin Gunther, Brock Hersey, Robert Bluen.
I'm surprised you don't have more tempers right now. I'm listening in on the race chatter. There's not much confrontation right now. These guys are pretty calm and collected for a bunch that just had a big incident.
As you mentioned, Patinko just stays out of it there. There you see Kevin Gunther in the pit lane taking some significant repairs. The pit strategy relatively simple out front, but Brian Smith did come in for 4 tires. I'm a little perplexed as to why. That's 2 sets that he's now used out of 4.
But like we said, he's got 11 wins. So I don't know if we can be asking why. I think we should be asking how. And what will happen.
He's going to lead the field off the pit lane. Gladgelich, Patinko, Purcell all pit behind him. And Purcell, by the way, he got a big piece of that crash as well. There you see the right side of the 0-1 smashed in a little bit. He got right into the 6 car of Finnegan. He had properly nowhere to go. We're going to send these boys back green this time by. That crazy run ends up with Gilbert out front, Lewis second, then Patty, Turzak, and Lane your top 5. Logan Romney 6th. And let's work him back to the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air at Bristol.
That was a bad start out on the outside there. You know, that inside was absolutely hauling, and that outside just went straight static on the start there. His lane goes on the inside. This bunch is just going for it.
It's still early here at Bristol as the leaders work down the backstretch. Chase Lewis in third, battling with Ray Lane and Kyle Turzak. Turzak going to cross down to the inside lane. He looks to the inside of the 84 of Lewis. Looks at the back end of the 30. Oh, and Turzak gets into the 84 a bit. Patty going to go backwards on the top side. Hits the wall again.
Big hit on the right front. That car's gonna start getting some progressive damage there if he doesn't stop hitting that wall.
The fender's gone. Yep. Right front fender's gone.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. He's gonna break a toe link here soon.
It's the wall again.
That's not what you want to do. You're gonna start getting a toe link here. You're not gonna be able to turn that car. You got to be careful. Ooh, Smith gets close to Patty's rear end there.
Brian Smith flying through the field. He restarted down around the 10th spot. Here it goes, looking to the inside of Ryan Patty down here in 1 and 2. Big move from Brian Smith. He's got him cleared. He moves into 4th.
Big send by him, but it was a needed send. Patty's got a lot of damage on that right side.
Caution. Cody Neal's turned around and in the wall.
That looks like a case of someone spinning him on the front stretch. I'm gonna have a guess here that he was on the inside and he got hit from the right rear and it spun him around.
Was in turns 3 and 4. He was racing behind Patinko and Gunther, so he took ownership for the crash with Finnegan. And down the backstretch here, oh, not clear.
Yeah, that's what I thought would have happened. Seeing a car like that, that's primarily what's going to happen there.
Just tried to come up, and the 96 was there. Boom, outside wall.
That's just a case of not knowing where the car is behind you. You know, I don't see any blame there on Patinko. I also don't see very much blame there on the number 4 car. You know, I think 4 will take the blame there, but I think that's a racing incident. That's Bristol right there for you.
A lot of cars down to pit lane here. Travis Gilbert stays out, but into the pit lane goes Brad Delph. And Ryan Patty also pits. Yeah, he needs to. With all that right front damage, he needs to come in and pit.
Yeah, he's fighting with fire right now. You know, that outside wall is calling his name every time he goes into there. And no fault on his own. He's fast on the outside, but once he starts to touch that wall, I think it's like a magnet for his car.
We're going to dial up somebody who was very fast a little while ago and was a big part of the race lead fight for a little bit. It's going to be Charlie Widener. Charlie, boy, this has been a wild ride so far. Your 8th year under caution. What's going on for you?
Just trying to figure out which pit strategy I like best. I probably should have pitted right there, I feel like, but just trying to avoid the accidents and staying clean is the hardest part.
A lot of new drivers are playing spoiler already. You couldn't quite get stage points there in stage 1, and well, they were a big reason as to why. How do you navigate that situation? A bunch of new drivers, different I ratings and such, a whole lot of speed out of them. How do you navigate that as somebody here who's here racing in the playoffs?
Well, Well, I was really hoping for the stage points. This is why I come in 1 point back, so I was trying to maximize the stage points. But the new tires was just too strong on that restart, and they got me. So maybe I can get off sequence here, and then I get to drive up through them like they're sitting still, and then I'm just looking for a good finish here to solidify going to the next round.
If you can't get above the cutoff line here at Bristol, do you think you can do it at Kansas next week?
Yes, I like Kansas better than I like Bristol, so we should be fine. As long as we stay out of trouble, we're fine.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
There you go. That's Charlie Widener going to restart 8th place and see what he can do in the App State Mountaineers Toyota Camry. It'll be Travis Gilbert and Kyle Turzak on the front row. Logan Romney 3rd, then Brian Smith and Ray Lane. Jacob Gladulich in 6th. Chase Lewis, it looks like. Sorry, Lewis in 6th. Gladulich in 7th. And those guys are laying back. Oh boy, let's see what happens on this restart. Into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air for car 22. Here comes Brian Smith. Oh, right to Kyle Turzak and down to the inside.
Ooh, gotta be careful there. Yeah, big send there could have caused a wreck. And it's good on Smith there for not getting a sent there. But wow, these guys are just going all out on these restarts. I give it to him. Gilbert's probably looking in his mirror saying, "Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me. Please don't hit me." And Smith's saying, "Don't brake too early."
Turzak with a run off the corner. He pulls up to the back end of the 22. Here comes Smith on the inside, and he just can't go anywhere. I mean, he gets going and just stalls out very quickly on the back straightaway. He doesn't have the run off the corner that Turzak has. So these two are just held at bay right behind the 22 naturally, and you see Smith recognize that and pull back and let Turzak go, and he's now going to try the top side of the racetrack. Remember, he's got those new tires, and inside of 30 to go in the stage, he's trying to use them.
Yeah, that's a dangerous move on Turzak.
Oh, in the wall! Turzak with him.
Big hit. Wow. Oh, as I was saying before, that's a pretty hard move to let Smith go to the top on those newer tires. You know, he's shown that the new tires can be fast, and I would have stayed up there and make it so he couldn't go anywhere. Wear those tires out, right hard. Let's see how it all plans out.
We're battling inside the top 10. Logan Romney currently holds the final playoff point position. Not playoff point, but stage point position. There we go. He runs in 5th. Chase Lewis in 6th. Brad Delphin 7th. Charlie Widener is the next playoff driver in the top 10. It's a night of playoff woes. They all sit 10 to 20th for the most part, and even sometimes south of 20th in the case of Clemens, Finnegan, and Ball. I mean, this is a really painful race for these playoff guys as Cody Neal comes sailing through the field, goes by Widener in the 95, pulls to the middle side. Oh, hello, middle goes the 4 car, and that 3 wide pans out.
Yeah, that was big contact though. Oh, let's get wow. Oh my gosh, it's getting scary.
Up front, our 2 leaders work the top side. Gilbert leading, that's the 78 of Brian Smith on his back bumper. Big send there from the 78 to the inside of the racetrack. He will take the race lead away, but isn't quite clear at the stripe.
Yeah, he's gonna get him right here. He's gonna slide job up on him, but I don't know. Gilbert could get a run. He's gonna get a run here. Is he gonna send it though? That's the real question. No, he's gonna lay back. He's gonna let Smith go. That's a good move by Gilbert, letting the driver that's faster go, so he can make it so he doesn't lose time to Turzak behind him.
Brian Smith nearly had the win a week ago, involved in an incident with Vincent Loria. Was not happy at all. Ended up a lap down at the end of the race. Had to swallow that one sourly. Comes out tonight, qualifies middle to rear of the field. Started 22nd actually of 27 cars, so towards the back end for sure. And has raced to the front, has led and won stage 1, now leads here in stage number 2 with less than 20 to go. It's looking good to be car 78 right now, but there's a fight behind for 5th on back. It's Cody Neal and Ray Lane. Neal to the inside, Lane pulls up on the top.
As right now, Neil is just looking fast. That car is sticking on that bottom. I think Lane got a little tap on the outside wall there. No harm done. I think Lane needs to start going back to that bottom. He's way faster when he was running that bottom as he has Glaudowicz coming right behind him. You know, Glaudowicz wants that spot from Lane so he can see if he can get up to Neil, but with laps ticking down, I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up to him.
And Glaudowicz is on better tires. Lane is on 70-lap-old tires. He's run them out since just prior to the end of stage 1. He's stayed on the racetrack since then. Glaudowicz came in mid-stage and is trying to get some points here. Here comes Patty on the outside. Patty could have something as he bumps the wall there in 3 and 4. Patty is on the same tires as Cody Neal at this point and pulls down to the inside of Ray Lane. Here he goes. This is for 6th.
This will be a big move on Patty to see if he can catch up to Neil. It makes sense right there by Purcell. Doesn't end up working out, but you know Lane is under fire right now from Glaudowicz and Purcell. He needs to watch in the rear view mirrors as we have Widener right behind him catching up to them as well. So don't count him out yet.
Yeah, Widener waiting in the wings. He can get some spots, but I don't think he's going to get any stage points. Sean Purcell running my favorite paint scheme of the evening in the suicide prevention. Oh, 04. He's going to turn the 41 of Ray Lane. Lane comes to a halt on the inside of the racetrack, and I dare say he might come in for some tires now. Probably will after he gets turned across the front stretch. And Sean Purcell is going to have to, I think, go to the rear of the field.
Andrew, I have to ask a question for you. Being that there is only 10 laps left of the stage, right?
That's correct.
Being that there's only, well, as of right now, 9 laps left in the stage, would you come in and pit and get tires and get fuel, and then when the stage caution comes out, you get a splash of fuel and don't change tires?
Yes, I would.
Perfect. Hey, I like that answer.
Yeah, I definitely would. As you see, the suicide prevention awareness 04 end up turning the 41 on the front stretch. One more look at it. Just a little bit of contact. Incidental. And unfortunately, Purcell is going to have to take fault on that, I think. I definitely can't put that on the 41 car at all, but we've got pit stops happening. Brian Smith stays out, Kyle Turzak stays out, Brad Delph stays out, Travis Gilbert leads them all into the pit lane.
And this is going to be, I think it's going to be rough for those guys who stayed out. These guys on new tires, they're probably going to be pushing these tires pretty hard. You know, these guys having, I don't know how.
We'll have about 5
laps
to go, maybe 6.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to say because tonight's been kind of a good one to understand because a lot of the calls have been interesting, but they seem to work out. I would say people on fresh tires are going to have the run on the guys with the older tires, that's for sure.
Gilbert will be first out of the pit lane. He'll be followed, it looks like, by the 04 of Sean Purcell and the 95 of Charlie Widener. So Widener could come back into this. He's going to be 9th working off the pit lane. He might have just enough time to race into the top 5. He is but the 4th playoff driver in 9th right now. And this is, right now, a lot of playoff drivers stacked up front compared to what we've had all night long. This is about the most we've had up front in the top 10. Ryan Smith leads. Ryan Patty runs 4th. Glaudowicz 5th. Then Widener now in 8th as Purcell will go to the rear. This has been a night to forget for everybody in the playoffs, as Hersey is also going to the rear, it looks like, in the 24 car. So that makes Widener now 7th. He'll restart as the 2nd car on tires. Yeah, I like this for Widener all of a sudden.
Yeah, this was a really good call by him. I didn't realize how many cars stayed out. This is what Widener needs. Being, like I said, being one under the cut line. These people on old tires better watch out because he's gonna be fighting for those points.
5 cars stay out under this caution. Brian Smith with 40-lap-old tires. Kyle Turzak with 67-lap-old tires. Ryan Patty and Brad Delph with 28-lap-old tires. and Jacob Gladgelich on 40-lap-old tires. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. The youngest tires in the top 5 are 28 laps old. The oldest are 67 laps old, and they're bolted onto the 15 car of Kyle Turzak. It's going to be all Brian Smith, though, with 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Out of turn 4 and into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air once again for Brian Smith. Widener gets held up big time. He's going to fall all the way down to 8th spot. Every time it seems like he's going to have an opportunity, something goes wrong, I feel like, for the 95 car. He falls all the way down to 8th as Patinko gets the wall, and we've got a side-by-side fight between Gilbert and Turzak.
Yeah, Widener needed to have a better start there. You know, he's going to be falling back to Gladwich right now. Like you said, Turzak and Gilbert right now, but Gilbert is flying through the field. Patty and
Spinner! It's a 72 and Delve. The 14
Oh.
involved. Caution's out. That was off the nose of Widener.
Oh, that's probably going to be a penalty for Widener there.
And that's going to end stage 2.
So, looks like Brian Smith will end up winning the stage, and we have... Was it Patty right behind him? Yes, it was. So, 2 of your playoff drivers finishing in the top 5 there. Ooh. Some hard hit to the rear end for Gladwich right there.
I know it's usually on the passing car. I don't know that this is the 95's fault.
Yeah.
Oh, and Brzezowski
Wow.
clobbered to the
Jesus.
wall.
What happened there?
I think he got 3 after the crash. If we can, here, we'll slow this down. The 72 is middle of the racetrack here and comes down to diamond the exit of the corner. I can't put this on Widener at all.
No.
I hope Widener does not claim that, because that is, in my opinion anyways, not on Widener at all, and that will go to a post-race review, and admins will determine their idea of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would have to 100% agree with you on there. Widener was on his lane. He couldn't have gone anywhere else other than the apron there, so I would 100% agree with you on that I would put that on Delph.
Well, you see pit stops happening. We've lost track of who's where, but that ends stage number 2, and will bring us Ryan Patty as the first driver not named Brian Smith at the end of stage 2. There you see Brian Smith lead us out of the pit lane. Brian Smith won stage 1. We talked to him already, so we will move on now to the next driver that hasn't won a stage yet, or hasn't talked to us yet, I should say, and that'll be Ryan Patty, who will line up second place, was second at the end of the stage. Ryan, it has been a rough race for you. We've seen it, a lot of wall contacts. The fender went missing for a little bit. Thankfully, the team found it. But how's the car feel now?
I think we're back to status quo now as far as the body. That right front should be back where it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, I didn't really get a lot of practice this week. Love this track, but wasn't really ready to, for whatever happened there. I just a crazy push off the corner a couple of times that plowed the right front wall, the wall with the right front. Sorry. So I think the car's okay. I've got a pretty good handle on it now. It's just gonna be a matter of who's got the freshest tires at the end.
And it's been a wild race as far as the battles on the racetrack and on the pit lane. Everybody has done something different, it seems like, in the pits so far today. Where do you sit with sets of tires left to go?
Yeah, I still got 2 sets left, so we'll burn one probably on a fuel run here if we get there, and then save one for the end of the race if we need it. But honestly, some of these cars can probably hang on with old tires, so I may not even need the second set.
One more question. A lot of new drivers here. How do you navigate that? How difficult has it been?
Yeah, it's tough because you don't really know who's fast and what their tendencies are, but you know, it's racing and we'll just have to figure it out as we go.
Best of luck here.
Thank you.
That's Ryan Patty, second place in stage 2 rather. He will line up in the 9th spot. Travis Gilbert's going to stay out. A lot of cars do. In fact, the top 7 all stay out. Gilbert, Widener, Romney, Lane, Patinko, Lewis, and Purcell stay out under this caution. Green flag will go back in the air for Travis Gilbert. Widener slow through the gears.
Yeah, definitely being slow through the gears, but personally not the worst start we've seen on the outside. It seemed like a lot of the cars that start on second place have that problem as we see. Wow, that
Lewis.
was a hit.
Lewis really knocked the wall down there off of turn number 4. Ray Lane now to the inside as one car is slowed. That's Patinko. He falls back now to 10th, and we'll lose some spots here on the restart. Watching Ray Lane on Charlie Widener. This for second place as Gilbert goes fastest.
Yeah, Lane's really put on a charge here. Lewis, oh my gosh, got scary there. He's flirting with that wall right now. It's getting close.
Terzak to the inside of Brian Smith. They're on even footing for one of the first times all night long. The same set of tires here as Gilbert keeps going faster out front. That 22 is on rails, a 14.251 that time, as Brian Smith sits right behind Chase Lewis, who's going the wrong direction. Terzak has got clear racetrack down low for the time being. Now Romney pulls down there as Widener sits ahead of him.
Yeah, we keep on seeing Gilbert putting fast lap times down, but he's got to be careful. You can't burn those tires up yet. This is the long run. You don't know if there's going to be another caution, and being Bristol, there probably will be, but he's got to be careful on his tires because you've got fast lane behind you, you've got a Widener behind you. They're all looking, especially Widener here. Widener needs a good finish here. He needs to get there as we see Smith
Caution
right below his caution out.
Brad Delph.
Oof.
The red 72 comes to a stop, and oh no! That's not what you
watch out
want.
for cars coming.
This is in turns 1 and 2. He'll back down the banking and let the leaders go by. Tries to get back going here. Squeezes Terzak. And we'll finally get back going and pull down through the pit lane there, it looks like. Let's take a look back at what happened for the 72 car. He was racing with Stephen Tuck in the 10. This is down the back stretch. And
that car is beautiful by the number 10. Oh, and there's contact, yeah. You know, Delph has had a really rough night with other drivers around him. You know, those exit of corners have really got him. I think there's been a couple incidents where he's been involved in exit corner incidents, and yeah, that happens. You know, banging wheels, it's a little loose, and thank God he did not go up the track a little farther because he would have gotten smoked.
well, under this caution, I think we'll see a little bit of quiet on the pit lane, which means we can talk about what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV while these guys cycle around the racetrack. Next up, we go racing at Talladega, and Mason, you'll be in that race. Mason Houseman joining us this evening on the mic will be in the BRB Butker Cup Series race and fighting for a championship. How challenging is it to go to a place like Talladega knowing that those points are on the line?
It's really it's hard. It's a rough track. It's a place where you could get killed instantly. But you know, having momentum from last week at the Roval, I have good faith in what we're doing. We've got some people we're gonna be working with. We can't tell you who we're working with, but we're gonna have some people that will help us propel and get us farther up.
Afterwards, on Thursday, we'll go racing at Martinsville Speedway with the 1-8 Racing Media National Tour for the Sim Auto Racing Association. That'll be the Martinsville 300, 200 laps at Martinsville Speedway. They already ran the 100 part of that 300. They ran the heats and qualifying night this past Thursday on September 19th. We'll go racing under the lights at Martinsville Speedway this coming Thursday night for points. Then Sunday, it's the Icon Cup Series coming back around to you at Kansas Speedway for September 29th. That'll be the finale of the round of 12 and the elimination race here. The second elimination race of 4, I guess technically 3 this season. Boy, it's going to be a tough one out at Kansas there on September 29th. Make sure to tune in for all of these races and more on our social media channels listed down below: Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. Plenty of places to watch along here at Pit Stop TV. You should definitely follow them all.
Yeah, I like the call on Kansas being a cutoff race. Kansas can be a really good place to have some close battles, side-by-side battles. You know, one and 2 can be a questionable place. You know, I'm not too certain because we haven't raced there this season. I know 3 and 4, there's many lanes where you can go, you can get around somewhere, or you can have really close battles the entire time.
We'll see what these guys can do. A week prior to going to Kansas, Kansas should be fun, but with still nearly 150 left at Bristol. Green flag back in the air for Travis Gilbert. Ray Lane runs second. We're back racing.
And I've noticed tonight that those restarts are crucial to get out in front of people. If you can get out in front, you'll have the lane that you want and prefer. As we see, Zach on the bottom with Brian Smith on top. Yes, it is. Smith is really fast on the top. I would try to cut it off. Yep, that's exactly what I would have done right there in my lane. I cut off that momentum, so he has to push you throughout the track, make you faster as we dives down the inside. Oh, coming up the track a little bit. Oh my God, he's fighting with fire right now. You know, you said it earlier, Brian was having a I don't care moment, and he's still feeling that fire under his butt.
Seeing red, yeah, for sure. It was 130 laps remain after this one here. 130 to go. We're clicking them off one by one by one. Brian Smith runs in the third spot now behind Gilbert and Lane. Turzak runs in fourth. Patty in fifth. Then Romney, Lewis, Widener, Purcell, and Brock Hersey complete your top 10. Hersey nearly gets into the 0-4, who has come through for what has been a very solid night, quietly solid night for the 0-4 car. And anytime I see a driver support a cause like this, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, well, in this case, technically honoring the Suicide Prevention Month, which is the month of September. Of course, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You see a lot of pink around, but in the month of September, it's a lot of purple and blue. National Suicide Prevention Month. I love this paint scheme. It's something that's near and dear to me. I've lost some friends to suicide, and to have a car like this on the racetrack this evening means a lot. So a big shout out to Sean Purcell for running it this evening. Unfortunately, he's having some blinking issues and is here and there and everywhere right now in front of Brock Hersey. That is not what you want to be seeing as one of these drivers right behind him.
This is a scary moment for these drivers. You don't know where he's going to be. It's I've had these problems with some drivers before. You don't know where to go. You don't know where he's going to be, and if it comes down to it, you just got to back off a little bit. You don't want to destroy your car. You don't want to destroy the other guy's car. So yeah. But like you said, Purcell, he's a beautiful car. I love it. I love the cause that he's supporting, and like you said. But as we see Lane, Smith, and Hersey is coming down probably for the blinking issue. Good on him to understand what's going on and out of the way these guys to make it so they can race safely.
And unfortunately, that'll bring that strong run to an end for him. He'll go a couple of laps down at the very least. 1 lap down already for the 0-4 car as he pulls into the pit lane. Robert Bluen runs 4 laps down. Joshua Clemens is back on the racetrack 10 laps down. And Adam Ball has just passed Nathan Finnegan to now be 74 laps down in the 22nd spot. There are no other playoff drivers out of this race aside from Finnegan. Ball is back in. Clemens is back in. They're trying to get everything they can here, and they need to as well. I know the window's going to close a lot sooner for Adam Ball than it is for Joshua Clemens, because Ball is 74 laps down, 75 now. He's not going to get much of anything back unless somebody drops out of the race now. But Clemens at 10 laps down can certainly get some laps back, maybe 7 laps down or something by the end of the race, and potentially get some points over these guys that end up falling out. It's inevitable. We'll have a couple more cars fall out of this race.
Yeah, and you got to stay in it, no matter how hard it is. You could go down, and like you said, you could go up to 7 laps, but people could go down to being out of the race, and you could gain probably 2 or 3, maybe even 4 spots out of it, and those are points that you will need, especially in these dire moments.
Here comes Ray Lane on the inside, Brian Smith on the outside. Smith makes the pass and moves on by the 41 car of Ray Lane. That puts Turzak now in the next seat to move up. Ryan Smith, the one driver this evening that seems like can hang with these new guys as Lane gets real sideways and squirrely into turn 1 that time. Turzak backs off, and Ryan Patty runs in the distance.
Yeah, if I'm Gilbert right now, I would be hating to see what's in my rearview mirror right now. Smith has been a fast car all night long. He's got, I think, maybe a couple lap fresher tires if I'm not mistaken. But no matter what, I would still hate to see this guy behind. 11 wins. He's got 11 wins for a reason. He's fast. He's consistent. This is going to be a moment for Gilbert, being a newer guy. He needs to understand what's coming behind him, and he needs to stay focused and not mess up.
While that happens, we watch the battle for third place. Kyle Turzak works on the inside of Ray Lane and now falls back after that moment on the front straightaway, so he will fall into the 4th position and have to go back to work on that 41 car. Turzak will be in the field on Thursday for the Sim Auto Racing Association from Martinsville. Make sure to tune in for that broadcast and see Turzak go racing in a late model stock car at Martinsville Speedway. They'll pull back to the inside here of Ray Lane and go back to work for third place. We'll let them do that as further back, Charlie Widener works on Logan Romney. Widener, one of our playoff drivers, want to pay special attention and special close attention to these drivers as, whoa, Widener pushes right up into the 42 car for just a hair of a moment.
And Widener needs to be careful these moments. He's fighting to get into the round of 8. He needs to get around Romney as fast as he can, and if you can't get around him, stick behind him. You need these points. You need to understand how crucial it is to just stay there.
And you heard him talk about earlier wanting to maximize those stage points. He understands how crucial it is. He knows the situation he's up against. Unfortunately, there's just so many drivers that are here this evening that are faster, and I don't want to use this word. There's a couple that I feel like are cherry picking that haven't been here at all this season, pop in for this race, and that's okay. They're allowed to do that. It's just a pain for the playoff guys. It just really sucks for them, and I think it's a wake-up call to maybe put a few more practice laps in and try to be a little faster when this race comes back around the next time. But see a moment there as Romney gets the wall and 95 of Widener gets into him. I'm just calling that as I see it.
I agree with you. It's a painful situation as a driver, understanding that you don't see these guys all the time. And when you don't know how a driver drives, it's super hard to race around them because you don't know how consistent they're going to be. They're going to burn those tires up, or if they're just going to be aggressive. But I will say Widener is loving it right now. He can't look too far back because Loudwich is right there, but he's loving seeing Loudwich behind him because, like I said, there's a 1-point gap in between the two, and this is enough points that you can get above the cut line going into Kansas.
So Widener runs 7th now as he gets by Logan Romney. Looks for 6th here on Chase Lewis as he goes low and the other two go high. Cody Neal has pulled up here. Gladulich runs back in the 12th spot though, so this would separate these two out and put Widener into the top 8. Clemens also so far down there, Adam Ball way down there. This would really help the 95 and 3 wide behind him now.
3 wide. They were 3 wide through the entire backstretch, and they went into the corner like that. I thought at least one of them would back out of that. Oh my gosh.
Well, now teammates Lewis and Romney fall back. But back on that Charlie Widener story now as he runs 6th place. Gladulich runs, down to the 12th position. Kyle Purcell ahead of him runs down in the 10th spot. If anything, Widener and Purcell are going to be close, and the rest of these guys are going to be falling out. Gunther is going to pick up some points. Gunther runs in 15th. But when you've got Eldred down there in 17th spot, a lap down. You've got Clemens down there in 21st, 10 laps down. You've got Adam Ball at 96 laps down, back out of the race here. Oh, man. I mean, it's just... it's going to be a very interesting situation at Kansas next week, and a lot of drivers in must-win situations.
And a man that does not need to worry about that, but is mounting a charge right now. Smith up front is on Gilbert's bumper. He's been sending it in. A couple of lap cars have knocked him off his pace there a little bit. Gilbert can't be too careful here. If it comes down to it, he's got to race him hard. Only being 204 laps into this race, and being a 300 lap race, you got to understand how crucial it is to not let not let people get too far out in front of you.
The difficult spot for Gilbert is he is making his first start of the season, first start of the series. He's a part-timer, and he's up against these playoff drivers, and you've got to be mindful of that. You've got to be mindful. You've got to realize the situation that Brian Smith is in, and while Smith has a lot of points to the cutoff line, you maybe have to cut him a little bit of extra slack and a little bit of extra respect as there's a crash ahead. That is the 10 car of Stephen Tuck in the wall. I think Gunther was involved, and this crash halts us on lap 207 of 300.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of pit stops here. People taking tires and people taking fuel. But yeah, that was a hard hit on the outside wall. Contact there.
So,
Patinko. Yeah, him and Patinko got contact there. That really wasn't that. Oh, that left rear though. You gotta be careful on that. I don't know if he's gonna have any broken toe links, but that car's gonna have a little bit of front end damage. That's for sure.
by the way, Gunther had just pitted. He was working off the pit lane. And looks like Gunther came in for a 4-tire stop, so he might have taken a wave round at some point and was short on fuel. He is now 3 laps down as you watch this replay. That's what happens when you have to pit here under green flag with the single pit lane. You have to pit in turn 2 and cycle all the way around to turn number 1. That's a long time in the pits. 4 laps down initially for that 31 car as Stephen Tuck gets back going here. That is a huge blow to somebody that is in the playoffs and needs points, and suddenly is way out of a lot of them. Pit stops, though, for our leaders.
I've been watching Gilbert. Gilbert took 4. Smith took 4. Gilbert's going to beat him off, but we'll see if anybody out in front will get him. And Aldrich come out? I'm not too sure. Let's see if... Oh, it's going to be close. Oh.
Terzak gets lane.
Yep. But Gilbert most importantly beat Smith on. That's what he needed to do. So, but I will say Loudwich, he take 2 tires?
No, so he does this a lot actually. He'll run through the pit lane and take no service because that makes him eligible to pit on the final lap before going green. Whereas if he stayed out, he wouldn't be eligible to pit. It'd be closed to him, if that makes sense.
Okay.
I forget the exact, but this allows him to come back in later, right? Does that make sense?
That's smart. I understand what you're saying. That's smart.
So he will go to the rear. I forget. See, I don't race much. I know there's a rule with iRacing where if you pit later and you didn't already pit, you get some kind of black flag or something, or you have to go to the rear, whatever it is. Closed pit exit, something like that.
If you go into a closed pits, they will, if I'm not mistaken, they'll give you an EWO pretty much, essentially.
Right.
I mean,
so
most of the time you don't go into a closed pits, but I will say I've done it before, once or twice before.
Well, the entire set of leaders all came in, so we're going to have a fresh set of tires and a fresh tank of fuel in these cars now within the fuel window to go to the end. These guys do not have to pit again. They may pit again in some cases, as they should, I think, all have 1 set of tires left except for maybe Cody Neal, maybe Brian Smith, depending on what they've done earlier in this race. They each have a lot of pit stops throughout this race. We'll go back green. 89 laps to go. Green flag back in the air for Travis Gilbert.
Yeah, great start by Gilbert, but honestly, a good start by Smith. We haven't seen a lot of people that start on that second place position. They have a good start.
He's going to get into Gilbert. Big crash for Gilbert. Ray Lane involved.
Yeah, that's a big. Oh, he gets hit again. Oh, Patinko just. Oh, that. Yep. I got a lot of cars. Patinko finishing the job there. It's going to be a totaling broken for Patinko for sure.
Crash off the restart into turn 3 here. Brian Smith working on Travis Gilbert. We'll get a look here. Gilbert just had a bobble. Smith gets into him, and it's a big crash off the corner. Lane, Romney, Lewis, Tuck flies in there. Blew in late on the brakes. Patinko just smashes into the 22.
Yeah, and that for it being this early in the race, that's a hard thing to intake for a lot of these guys. I think that could have been avoided, but in the driver's helmet, you know, they just, I could say this, I could say that, but they're thinking all fast motion and it changes. But I will say, for these guys hitting him in the end, that is uncalled for. They need to slow down.
And look at it for Brian Smith and Travis Gilbert. Lane gets a big piece of it. Terzak gets a big piece of it. Brad Delph skids around. You see the 44 smash the wall. That was Josh Clemens trying to miss all of this.
And I'm thinking about it. You know, this is going to leave a door open for a lot of these guys that have been racing behind Smith. Smith's probably going to get a penalty here for contact, I'd imagine. But
well, so it's an honor system where you have to claim the caution or, oh man, Patsenko got a jump scare. That's what that was. He was rolling behind the 31 who peeled left at the very last second. But the honor system allows these guys to either claim the caution or not claim the caution. And if they don't claim the caution, they'll get a penalty on Tuesday after the fact by race control and admin. So in this case, Brian Smith gets to either claim the caution now or, yeah, and he will. He got into the 22 car, so he will claim the yellow and go to the rear. Or he could not claim the yellow, stay racing where he is, and if he's deemed to have caused the caution later on Tuesday, he would get an end of line or end of lap penalty, basically putting him one lap down more or less, and he would go to the very end of the line of whoever finishes on the lead lap, or on his lap in his case, if he were to be laps down at the end or whatever. So in this case, he does claim the caution, and will go to the rear of the field and have to work on this all over again with 85 laps to go.
We know he can do it. He's done it once. He could do it again. If there's a guy who can make his way through the field, it's definitely going to be Brian Smith. But this leaves the door open to a lot of other drivers. I mean, we see Widener all the way up to 6th, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, and Patty into 2nd. You know, Patty's been a strong car all night long. I think Terzak's got something coming for him on that high side. Patty's been fast all night long, and Widener, he needs points. He's going to be aggressive.
This does change up who's where for sure. That puts Lane with some damage into 4th. Romney's still up here with some damage. We'll see what happens on this restart as we work into the Geico restart zone. This time by, there goes the iRacing.com pace truck back to the relative safety of pit lane. Green flag back in the air. And I want to give a nod to all of our partners at Pit Stop TV. The green flag back out. Kyle Terzak, Ryan Patty, they race out front.
It was a great start by the front too. You know, they make that gap, make it so you two can fight.
Oh,
two guys
Neil!
behind you to fight, and they're getting close. Wow, that was a moment right there. That could have been bad.
Neil about gets into lane as he gets a shot there from the 42 car of Romney. Everybody down low through the top 4. Work at the very bottom of the racetrack. And again, I'm going to direct everybody's attention back over to the scoring tower on the left side of the screen. All right, you've got the yellow numbers, yellow number boxes as never mind. Caution's out. Brad Delph in trouble again.
Looks like another incident of getting turned. That's what I'm imagining right now. But you know, you weren't talking about the timing sheet.
Here's, Brock Hersey got loose, ends up right hooking the 72 car of Delph. A couple of non-playoff drivers at this point. Hersey was in the playoffs and was eliminated in round 1 after Atlanta. And, Hersey got into the 72 into the corner and then got free off the corner, hooks the 72 car. Oh my gosh. Brad Delph is not going to be sending Brock a Christmas card.
That's for sure. And you know, good on everybody else to avoid him. You know, this is a hard track to avoid, and those guys who were on the inside, they were playing with fire, but they made it work out. That's for sure. As we see Purcell get the wave around right now, that will help him out. I don't know how many laps down is he now.
That'll bring him back onto the lead lap. So a big big
Watch
advantage
out for
there.
him.
All of a sudden, he's back in the race, and he was moving into the top 10. He's got one of the cleanest cars in the racetrack. He was moving through the top 10 when he had to go to the rear for that. He had to pit. That's right. He was under green. He had to pit because he was blinking, and he was racing in the top 10 when it happened.
100%.
Which is why he was laps down. Brad Duff will go to the rear after all of this and actually pit with Stephen Tuck, who is 1 lap down. Brzezowski's 1 lap down. So Brzezowski and Tuck will suddenly be our new lucky dog fight this next run.
You know, I keep bringing it up, but if you look at the 6th and 7th place cars right now, Widener and Glaudwich, the 2 drivers fighting to be able to get above that cut line, it's going to be a steamy battle, I think. I think those 2 are going to share room, but it's going to be close. You know, as we see, Glaudwich is only 1 point above Widener, and those 2 are right there in frame together.
Yeah, this is an interesting spot for these drivers to be in. Widener comes in 1 point below Gladulich. Gladulich comes in 1 point above Widener. The good news for them is Adam Ball and Joshua Clemens are many laps down apiece. Ball is just about out of the race, down in 22nd. And in the case of in case of Joshua Clemens, he's 19 laps down out of this race now in the 21st spot. So Gladulich and Widener definitely will move in to the round of 8 if things end somewhat close to as they are now. If they just keep running to the end, they'll move up. Gunther,
I think he'll move up. I personally think he'll move up.
Gunther is going to be an interesting case because he's still in the race, but he is 2 laps down. Eldred is... Let's see, where is Cody Eldred? He is actually in the race. He's 10th. So Eldred is an interesting situation, and then Zach Lockett did not make the call to Bristol this evening. Kyle Purcell still in the race. He's 9th. So this should bring Adam Ball and Joshua Clemens out and move Charlie Widener and maybe even Cody Eldred or Kevin Gunther into the round of 8. It's going to be interesting to see where everybody lies into Kansas next week, but we're going to have 75 laps to go this time a bye for Kyle Turzak and company out of turn number 4. Turzak on the outside lane and the Geico restart zone and back green at Bristol.
Ooh, good start by Patty. He was thinking about it, but he's there. He's there.
A brief 3-wide situation behind him as Ryan Patty follows Turzak closely off the quarter, side by side for 3rd. Lane gets by Neal. We're closing in on 70 to go.
And Tarek is making that inside work. Now Patty's getting that run as he gets a little twitch there, but Patty's been making that run on the outside. But
Turzak fastest.
Ooh, said fast time.
14.225 for the 15 of Kyle Turzak to the onboard there with Ryan Patty following him closely. They're both on the bottom of the racetrack. I love this view. We don't use it all that often because it doesn't show a whole lot, but it in a sense does show a whole lot. But Ryan Patty on board inside the helmet. You can see his hands, see what he's doing. You can see the dash and see the driver's perspective as Turzak in this case is driving away from Patty. See on the bottom right, RPMs, gear, mile per hour, all that good stuff as he loops around the bottom of the racetrack. 70 laps to go, that time by.
I like Turzak's position right now. He's making it so Patty can't really utilize that inside without getting a little bit of air on his nose. So he can't go up like that. He's got to stay close to that apron. Being here, it's a rough track to stay on that bottom because your car wants to push up no matter what. If Patty can get a little bit of air on that nose on that bottom, I think he can catch up to Turzak.
So Turzak, Patty, Lane, your top 3. The first real fight is Brian Smith back here, who has 17 lap-old tires, is trying to come back through the field, races with Logan Romney, and gets clear of the 42 car and moves into 5th. Then you've got Kyle Purcell, Charlie Widener, and Jacob Gladulich back here. Widener and Gladulich can't separate. Then they've got Cody Eldred right behind. So for all of those playoff drivers that were sinking down through the field earlier and having trouble, they're starting to come back late. You've got Purcell, Widener, Gladulich, Eldred all in a row, 7th through 10th. They've come back into the top 10 and are ahead of Brad Delph, Sean Purcell, and Brock Hersey, who are out of the playoffs, and round out the 13 cars left on the lead lap.
Hey, can we talk about Purcell? That is a run to get back up to these front runners. Him just coming back onto the lead lap, being forced to go to the rear of the field, that's a run. That is a run, and that's good by him. But, you know, like you said, 7th all the way down to 10th is all playoff drivers right there.
I hate to burst the bubble, but that's the other Purcell. That is Kyle Purcell, and you know what?
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
it's
Oh,
an
no.
easy mistake to make, especially in your first race with the Icon Cup Series. But Kyle Purcell has had a different story. Remember, he was involved in the crash with Nathan Finnegan so many laps ago. In fact, some 135 laps ago. Sean Purcell was the brother who had to go to the rear. Sean runs, admittedly, still an impressive run in the 12th position after all this is said and done at the moment. But I want to quickly move on to a fight here between Nathan Brzezowski and Stephen Tuck. This is for the lucky dog position. We're on board of Tuck now, chasing Brzezowski, who currently holds on to that spot. This is worth watching because this could be a driver that gets back on the lead lap here very soon as Gilbert leaves the pit lane, 25 laps down for that 22 car.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big hit from him. He was a lead lap runner, but you know, these two front runners, Terzak and Patty, they're gone from third right now. I think Lane and Neil, they're racing pretty hard, but these two up front, they're just acting like class of the field right now. They're making these tires in, and I think Patty gets the wall there a little bit. I think that inside is going to prevail here. I think Patty's starting to get a little too worn out on that right front. I think he's not going to be able to get as good as runs as he used to. He's going to have to start angling that car in way more on the exit, and it's going to start making his car a little bit loose on the exits, and you'll start to see that as his run fails.
Well, and Ryan talked about not having as much practice as these guys, right? He had less practice, had to come in here and kind of wing it. So he might not have as much experience down low and feels more comfortable up top, even though it might wear his tires out a little more. Clearly it's fast on the short run. He just needs it to go right on the long run, and so far it's not, as he loses more and more time. Is hemorrhaging that time right now. See the 8/10ths, 9/10ths in the corner. Just losing all kinds of time to that 15 car of Terzak.
And I definitely give it to Patty for not having as much practice. He's showing that he does have speed in that car no matter what, even if he doesn't do practice. Being in second is good, but I'm always gonna say that bottom's really good in these new next gen cars, and you know, Terzak's making that inside use. And as we go back there, we see, oh my gosh, they're going too wide right there. He tapped the wall just a little bit. Aldowich on the inside might send it here just a little bit, but being a good driver there and not sending it on him.
This is Gladulich on Eldred, and Cody Eldred was laps down for a long time, is back in this race in the top 10 and trying to race through the top 10. He's into the 9th spot, trying to hang on to it, but Gladulich wants it back as they run in front of Brad Delph, Sean Purcell, and Kevin Gunther. Gunther, though, 2 laps down in that 31 car, as Gladulich is going to win out for now over Eldred. To bump Eldred down to 10th, and maybe now 11th, as Sean Purcell goes by in the 0-4. So Purcell officially breaks back into the top 10. Both Purcell brothers having a solid night here.
And Gunther's gonna get around him right here. He's gonna send it in. He's gonna get right behind him and go right behind Sean.
As Ryan Patty starts to get the wall again and falls down to 3rd spot, Ray Lane went by in that 41 car. So problems have quickly compounded for the 30 as we're inside of 50 to go.
Yeah, and if you look a little bit farther back, you're going to see a familiar name. Ryan Smith, he is way up to 5th. You can never count him out. He's fast around this track. He knows what he's doing. He's catching up to Neil and Patty right now. I think Neil's going to get him. I think Patty's going to have to let these guys go because they got the speed right now. Got to watch out for Smith on his rear end too.
Here comes Brian Smith to the inside as Neal gets the nose ahead of the 30 car. Ryan Patty getting swallowed up on the long run. There goes Brian Smith, finally getting by the 30. Now he looks on the inside of the 4 of Cody Neal, and quickly he moves right into third position. Neal lets him have it. Remember, Smith down there talking with his KU Motorsports, not teammates at all, but friends we'll call him for now, as he's had many a beef, we'll call it, with those drivers this season, particularly Vincent Loria, but they seem to always work it out and be working together the next race. It's a very interesting dynamic, we'll say, for Brian Smith and that KU Motorsports bunch. But Brian moves into third, leaves Cody Neal in his dust, and Ryan Patty in fifth, Kyle Purcell in sixth, and all the way down, we've got a fight here inside the top 10, actually. Sean Purcell, Jacob Gladgelich, Brad Delph, the closest fight on the racetrack.
And you're talking about close right now. Ray has made up about 10 on Terzak, but it's fluctuating. These guys are setting the exact same times pretty much. It's around that 1.8 second, 1.9 second gap as we took our get a little loose there. Gladwich, and I think that's Sean Purcell. Got that right? Yes, I did. Let's go. But with Brad Delph right there with him.
Meanwhile, Kyle Purcell pulls up on Ryan Patty, lets Patty have the line there through 3 and 4. Had a chance, but Brock Hersey was down low on the insides. Now the 0-1, you're going to have to try it all over again. And there's a caution. Brad Delph, Sean Purcell, crash.
Oh.
That clean 0-4, not clean anymore.
I was just talking about how good Sean was doing. Oh no, I think I just gave him commentator curse. Oh,
happens to the best of us.
That's the first time I've done that. I feel so bad.
Here's a look at it. Sean Purcell just on the left side of Brad Delph there through the corner, and Delph comes down, and that's uncalled for. I don't care that it's Bristol. Get that out of here. We don't do right hooks.
Yeah, that was blatant. I've got nothing to say on it. That was blatant, and I don't think that was called for, like you said. I'm trying to figure out what was going on with Sean. I wonder if he sent it in a little too hard, or if they were having incidents before the lap. But it seems like there was a little bit of a connection between the two, maybe before the lap started, because those two were not happy with each other. That's for sure.
Well, let's see. We'll watch it back from a little bit further. And we'll just watch here for the 0-4 and the 72. I can't imagine they had much history. I mean, this happened very, very quickly. It's going to be this next time around. Delph pulls up. I think it was just an honest mistake from Sean Purcell. It had to have been.
Yeah, no contact. I think it was just a mistake.
And then Delph just comes and
uncalled for.
Right hooks, and
yeah,
that'll be a penalty Sean on Tuesday, and and it even collects Cody Eldred. Now it's impacting other drivers. That'll be a penalty on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, like I said, I don't got much for it. At least, yeah, I don't know. It's a rough moment to be in. I know Sean's probably got a lot of anger right now, but you can't let your emotions get through, because I don't know. It's just something you got to do. You got to keep your emotions in there. And with the way I say it, there's always next week.
Yeah, you got to keep your emotions in check for sure. Want to take a look, though, at drivers off the pit lane. Logan Romney's actually to come in, it looks like. He comes in late in the caution. That leaves just Cody Neal on the racetrack that stays out. Ray Lane going to be the first car on tires. And, boy, Cody Neal is about to get swallowed up. But I said earlier he might be without tires to go to the end. He might have used them all up. Ray Lane going to have 4 tires. Kyle Terzak has, actually, Lane's got 2, it looks like. Terzak has got 4. Brian Smith has got 4. Ryan Patty's got 4. Kyle Purcell's got 4. Charlie Widener's got 4. Jacob Gladgelich has got 4. And then Romney works out of the pit lane. He also has 4. Brock Hersey in the pit lane, it looks like it's the lucky dog. Maybe, perhaps.
This is gonna be scary on those guys that stayed out. They're gonna have to be watching in their mirrors, making sure that they don't cause incidents. I know the guy behind him has to be able to pass them clean, but You also got to understand in your own head that you're not going to be on the pace.
Well, I'll simplify it for you. It's just the one car. It's just the 4 of Cody Neal. He's going to have the advantage in the restart box, but he's going to head backwards in a hurry unless we get a string of cautions maybe. Let's see, 10 cars left on the lead lap after that big crash. And Neal fires in the restart zone. We are back green at Bristol Motor Speedway. Neal holds the bottom through 1 and 2. Here comes Brian Smith, though, on the inside.
Smith's going to get that, and Turzak's not going to waste any time here. He's going to try to get on the inside, but Neal's going to block it off perfectly. His lane's going to try to get around him. I think he's going to send it here a little bit. I would send it, try to get around him, because you're going to let Smith get too far ahead. Yep, that's exactly what he did.
Lane gets by for second. Turzak for third. Here comes Patty for fourth as the 4 car works the top side. Oh, breaks the wall down. Here comes the 41.
Oh, it's going to get back up into him.
Oh, Steven Tuck clobbers him. Brock Hersey involved. No caution yet. There might not be one.
He's off the racing surface, so I doubt there's going to be a caution.
No caution for the 41. Ray Lane is out of this thing. There's Steven Tuck, slow on the bottom. Leaders go by. No caution. 30 to go.
Very interesting, though. I mean, you would have thought that would have been a caution. It's getting close there. Turzak is on Smith's bumper. He's giving it all right now. He knows how important this is right now, being only 28 laps to go in this race.
Turzak wants to make the most as there's a caution. Brock Hersey. I thought, anyways.
Confused what happened. Maybe he was going slow on the racing line and it caused it?
Well, this has decimated our field. We're down to 7 cars on the lead lap. A couple of really big incidents today. Gonna look back at it one more time. Thought maybe Brzezowski would hold some answers about what this caution's for. Was it admin thrown?
No, it's not showing up as admin thrown. I'm super confused right now. What got that caution thrown? Oh, as we see Turzak. Oh, okay, he's faking out. I thought he was about to go into the pits.
You know what? We've got a camera actually specifically for this kind of thing. We've got a fisheye here in turns 3 and 4 where we can watch and see if anybody was slow. Brock Hersey came in.
Probably the only reason that they would, I think, feel like that caution would be thrown.
I don't see a reason for the caution to come out. And boy, we are.
There's a car. There's a car going. Who's that slow on the front stretch right there? Oh wait, they're already caution's already thrown. Sorry.
I don't know.
I'm super. It's weird. That's a.
So let me pause right here. I wish I could zoom, but unfortunately I can't. In this case, though, we're going to watch right down here. There's a caution light. And when does that come out? Right there. So what's going on here? There's nothing. For that to have been a big crash and no caution, then nothing to bring out this caution. I'm utterly baffled.
Yeah, that's a super confusing reason to come out. Maybe, you know what? Debris on the racetrack. iRacing knew it. They had to throw it.
I don't know. I'm like I said, I'm baffled as to why this caution came out from iRacing. But this helps those drivers that were caught up in that crash and helps others get back down to the pit lane. Oh, hello, Cody Neal. Coming in for service, it looks like. Could this have been for 4th tires?
I think that's pure service. I don't think he has tires. But it could be wrong.
Let's see.
But
no, it was just damage.
no, yeah, pure service.
Well, Kyle Turzak, Brian Smith will be the front row, and we've worked ourselves down to about 10, 11 cars.
We're dropping like flies. They're definitely starting to thin out really quick. But, you know, it's starting to get to that point where there's going to be 20 laps to go in this race. You got to put it all on the table.
Attrition has set in quickly here at the last great Coliseum. Coming to the restart zone, Brian Smith, Kyle Turzak, the front row, waiting on the green flag, and there it is. We are back green at Bristol.
Good start by Turzak. That's probably one of the best ones we've seen all night.
You say that, and Brian Smith takes the lead away from him. Paddy down low in third.
Sending it on him. He's going to get close here. Oh, close to that bumper.
They run through the middle there in 1 and 2. Smith has got the race lead. Turzak second, then Paddy, Purcell, and Widener your top 5.
Big send. He's not got the run here. That's you gotta save those for when it starts getting close to the end. You're gonna commit. You gotta commit.
It'll be 20 laps to go this time by for our race leaders. There it is, 20 to go.
This is when all the cards are on the table. You gotta push it all in here right now. Paddy goes to the inside, trying to see if he can edge his way closer to those top 2. What a beautiful shot on the inside, seeing how close these guys are together.
And looking through the eyes of Kyle Turzak, where is he going to go? Nearly in the back of the 78 car. He's going to try the middle again, the top side. This is right in Paddy's wheelhouse, right, by the way. Running the top side of the racetrack, right in the 30 car's wheelhouse, right where he's been all night long. Now Brian Smith goes down low.
Paddy has to be careful right now. Kyle Purcell is right on his bumper. It's kind of in the same boat as Smith and Turzak right now.
You can see that fight there in the background. Purcell and Paddy. Purcell on the offensive, Paddy on the defensive, then Widener sitting back there running on the bottom side, just wanting to go by them all. But for the race lead, 15 to go this time by.
He's on him right here. He's going to send it for sure. Oh, maybe not. What's wrong? I was expecting a send there. I think Turzak, hit on the wall there for Smith. I think Turzak knows that he's not in the playoffs and he's got to treat Smith with respect. So good on him.
14 to go that time by. They're clicking off one by one. Brian Smith under a lot of pressure here. Turzak follows him oh so closely through turns 3 and 4. This time it's 13 laps to go.
Smith got the wall there a little bit too. He's been flirting with that wall. He's got to be careful there.
It's going to be hard to pass when he's on the top side so commandingly like this, though.
I'm gonna expect Turzak to have a big send into when it starts clicking down his laps. He's gonna have to. That's the only way he can really get around him because that outside line is just way too good on the run out.
Remember, a week ago, Smith had the race win nearly in hand. It was taken away in contact with Vincent Loria. Now, tonight, here at Bristol, he's got an opportunity to go to victory lane and solidify himself in the round of 8. This, though, is the new spoiler. Kyle Turzak to the inside in the 15 car, right alongside, and now pulls right back in behind the 78 car. Brian Smith has got to hang on for all he's worth. He's being held honest as he gets the right rear of the wall there. 10 laps to go.
Yeah, I think that move was a little bit too early on Turzak. I think he should have stayed where he was at, but as we're going by a lap right now, this could cause implications right now.
Clemens holds nicely on the inside. Coming to 8 laps to go for our race leaders.
Turzak just needs to edge his way closer. He needs to save it all for that last lap. He needs to make sure that he can stay on him and descend it. So that's the best way that I can explain that he can get around Smith right now.
15 lead changes. Could it be 16 by the end of this one? The 15 car looking for it. There we go. That was 7 laps to go.
Yeah, we're counting them down here. It's going to be a show for the end. I hope this stays green so we can see how this ends out.
All the leaders go after it for first and second. Third and fourth back here, Ryan Paddy, Kyle Purcell, and Charlie Widener. They're all on a line, running around the top side. Right now, relatively unbothered, but up front, it'll be 5 laps to go at the half mile in Tennessee.
two are close. There's no room for error right now.
They go by Cody
All in.
Neal, who's a lap down. 4 laps to go. They keep clicking off. The chances are running out for Kyle Turzak. He's a spoiler, a playoff spoiler, making his very first start with the series. We know he's good on short tracks, though. 3 laps to go.
He needs to start edging into that gap. This is starting to get a little bit too far out in front of him. He's going to have to send it way too deep, and he's probably going to cause an incident. Possibly get penalized from it. Oh, he gets the wall there. That's not good. Yeah, Smith's starting to pull away from him.
That about pulls him out of contention now for the race win. Behind him, they fight for 4th. Ryan Patty has been passed up by Charlie Widener, who moves into 3rd place. Kyle Purcell going to look to the inside for 4th. It's 2 laps to go. This time by the white flag is out. Brought to you by Whiplash Sim Cams. One more time around this half mile. Turzak plows up the outside wall. He's got one more opportunity. He goes high. Smith goes low. Turzak at the wall hard. And is he going to try and drive it out? Contact with Brian Smith is going to win at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Gosh, what a finish. Oh, that was insane. Good finish on these guys. I'm happy they stayed green there because that was a good finish to watch.
Purcell got Patty for 4th. Turzak and Smith here after the crash. I think paying a little bit of respect to each other, hopefully anyways. Because Brian Smith keeps the race win. Turzak goes 2nd. That was just good, hard racing at Bristol Motor Speedway. That's what you want to see. And Brian Smith is your race winner. He swept the stages, hangs on at the end over a short track ace for 1st place. What a day at Bristol Motor Speedway. And Mason, that now makes 12 wins on the season for the 78 car. He is locked into the round of 8. That's a big one. Well, Brian Smith to victory lane here in car 78. We'll take a look at your full race results here in just a moment. But let's go back and take a look at that replay one more time. We've got to, right? I mean, we have to look back at that replay of that crash. This is a few laps to go. I don't know how Turzak even got so close, but we'll ride on board with him until the moment that it happens. That was white flag right there. Turzak is I don't know how far back. Car lengths. Grinds up the outside wall there in 1 and 2. Gets closer. Smith goes low. That opens the door for Turzak to hit the wall and stay in the gas. Hits the wall on exit. Got oh so close. Turns him across the stripe. But it was already fireworks for the 78 car of Brian Smith going to victory lane. Turzak gave it his all. Used the wall up a little bit. But it was not enough. There you see the turn 1 and 2 contact. I think Smith was expecting the 15 to grind up the outside wall big time, pull the Ross Chastain. Nearly did. I mean, he got there. And Brian Smith hangs on to the race win. Unbelievable finish here at Bristol Motor Speedway when it's all said and done. Let's take a look at your unofficial race results. This was a close one between Brian Smith and Kyle Turzak out front. There you see it. 54 1/1000ths of a second when it's all said and done between those two. 3rd place, Charlie Widener. We'll be talking to all 3 of the top 3 here in just a moment. Kyle Purcell goes 4th, Ryan Patty 5th, then Jacob Gladjulich, Nathan Brzezowski. They are your only drivers on the lead lap. Kevin Gunther ends up 8th, 2 laps down. Brock Hersey 9th, and Cody Neal in the 10th spot. 11th through 20th on your screen now. Cody Eldred, Josh Clemens, 20 and 21 laps down respectively. Robert Bluen there, 13th. Ray Lane, 14th. Stephen Tuck, Logan Romney, down through the top 20. Other highlights, you see Sean Purcell and Brad Dell, 17th and 18th. They have had it out in the league Discord chat. Not happy with one another. Travis Gilbert ends up 19th. Evan Patinko in 20th. And down through the balance of the field, Chase Lewis in 21st. Adam Ball and Nathan Finnegan, the two highlights here in the playoffs, 22nd and 24th respectively. A lot of work to be done for them at Kansas next week. Finnegan should be okay. He had a lot of points coming in, but he's going to be close to that cut line now. Adam Ball might have to rely on a win at Kansas if he wants to advance the round of 8. We'll talk with our top 3 drivers here when it's all said and done. Brian Smith with the race win. He swept the stages. He gets the race win, but not by much. Brian, what were you thinking on that last lap with the 15 looming?
I was watching in my mirror. I saw him wall riding, which, well, not a huge fan of that. So I knew if I stayed up top, he'd probably get to my back bumper. And that's why I decided to take the low line in 3 and 4. And sure enough, he bounced off the wall a few times, bounced off the wall on exit of 4. And we just got together on, coming across the start finish. But I felt like I could keep enough momentum to cross the line first. And sure enough, got the job done.
You hang on for your 12th win now of the season. And of course, advance on to the round of 8. What's your focus now? Well, I guess it has to be the round of 8, but is there a track in that round of 8, considering you're winning one race around it looks like? Is there a track in that round of 8 that you have your eyes on?
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it's, round of 8. Yeah, Dega, Roval, and Vegas. Obviously not a fan of Dega. Big fan of the Roval, and I do like Vegas, so... It seems like every single one of these rounds will go to a wide variety of tracks, and that's pretty cool. I like throwing the road courses in the playoffs. That helps me a lot. Should have got the win last week at Watkins Glen, but got taken out there, and it felt good to get this one. That's for sure.
Well, another race win for you, 68 laps led. It's kind of weird. You dominated the night by the numbers, right? By the stage and race win numbers at least, but by laps led, it looks like you were hardly there at all. I mean, is this something we should expect the rest of the season with these new guys coming in, or do you think you have what it takes the rest of the way to get those laps led away from them?
No, I think I've definitely got a hold on the field. Feel pretty confident that had I been able to qualify tonight and I didn't get that front end damage, which was my fault, but had that not happened, I think I would have had even more speed, and I think I displayed that well in the spring, leading just about every lap. So. Played the strategy right tonight, put tires on where it counts, learn out. I know how to pass here at Bristol. You just got to get outside someone, and once you can hold that top, unless someone's going to wreck you, it's almost impossible to get by someone that's near the same speed as you. So, yeah, just I think this one was just a racecraft win, considering the damage I had. But hey, I got the job done on speed too.
12 times I've talked to you as a race winner now this season. I don't know how many times, second and third. Congratulations, and we'll be watching for you in Kansas.
Thanks, Andrew. Good job, guys.
12 wins now for Brian Smith, an insane number at this point in the season. Kyle Turzak, though, goes second place, and I've been informed that there's no rule on wall riding, which I'm not going to say you wall rode, Kyle, but you definitely wall bounced a few times on that last lap. Was that the goal to try and get to him?
No, not at all. I was just so tight at the end. I had no chance. And, it was the final last laps, and I was doing everything I could, but it was definitely not on purpose. But I had a really good race right there. I felt like we were one of the fastest, if not the fastest. But I think it was the Ford car who stayed out, just held me up, and that's what led. I don't even know what his name is, Travis, to get up front, and it was just about whoever can stick the top, and I couldn't stick the top like him, and then I was on his bumper. I didn't want to wreck him because I know he was in the playoffs, so I was going to give that kind of respect to him, and if I was in his position, and someone would wreck me, I feel like I would be pretty mad, but take a second. First time ever running here, felt pretty good. Definitely got to get used to some things, but we're going to go on a Thursday, and hopefully go get us a Martinsville victory.
Yeah, we here at Pit Stop TV know you as a short track ace, so it's cool to see you chime in here to the Icon Cup Series at a short track. But do we see you go for an intermediate at Kansas next week?
To be honest, I don't know. I just look at my schedule because we usually have testing on Sundays for our cams, so just really depends. Got to help up the guys back out there, but also got to do my fair share of racing. I've done a lot of racing this week in the Cup car. Actually, I did 2 INSs, the full lengths, 500s, and I feel like I've done enough laps here today. At this week, I should say, more than probably 1,000 at this track. So definitely need a break from this next gen car for a little bit, but hopefully I will be back sometime soon.
Well, congratulations. Good to talk to you, and best of luck. We talked about it earlier. Thursday, you're going to be in that field of 30. We go racing at Martinsville Speedway for the Sim-Auto Racing Association 1-8 Racing Media National Tour race. Going to be a lot of fun. Best of luck on Thursday. We'll see you there.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Kyle Terzak, and he finishes just ahead of Charlie Widener, who hangs on at the end for a third-place finish when it's all said and done. We talked to you at some point during the race. We were waiting to see if you'd be able to get those stage points. Couldn't quite do it, I don't think, at either stage. But you come out here and get third place, Charlie. How satisfying is it to finally break through, get a little bit of luck here at the end?
Yeah, it feels great. I was really hoping for a top 8 finish. Third, or getting the podium's amazing. The motivation, I guess, was coming in to this 1 point out. I don't like seeing my name in that red part of the graphic. So, yeah, I'm glad luck was on my side. I avoided all the wrecks except when Delph came across my nose. Yeah, again, I'm kind of speechless that I got a podium, but I'm glad I did.
We take a look here at the points graphic coming into tonight. You mentioned you don't want to be in that red section. Well, I don't think you will be for much longer. I think after this race, you'll be in the blue somewhere. How much of a relief is that going into a place like Kansas where anything's possible?
Yeah, and I feel a little more confident in my abilities at a track like Kansas than I did here. So that's going to keep me in pretty good spirits, and just like tonight, if I can go in there, stay out of trouble, and do my thing, I should be fine.
Charlie Widener, after a third place effort here, definitely, I think, in some speechless but high spirits. Charlie, good to talk to you. Best of luck in Kansas a week from now.
Thank you.
And Charlie Widener will go back down with his team and celebrate this one. Speechless maybe a little bit for sure, but good to talk to Charlie when it's all said and done. And Mason had some other things to handle, so we will wrap this one up without Mason Houseman, but I want to give a big shout out to Mason Houseman, who has joined me throughout the evening. First time ever on commentary, ever, and got thrown right into the mixing bowl that is Bristol Motor Speedway here with these guys. First time covering the series, first time covering any kind of racing at all like this. He's a big part of the BRB Butker Cup Series that you'll see on Tuesday when we go racing at Talladega. Make sure to tune in for that one on Tuesday evening, September the 24th. You'll see Mason Houseman, Evan Patinko, and so many others racing on Tuesday. Again, a big shout out to Mason, who I think just got back, but joins me for the first time ever on a mic. It's so good to have you here, Mason. Good job. Maybe not congratulations,
Thank you.
Good job on the mic for your first time. Good to have you here. And as we look across at what's upcoming for us at the channel, you see Tuesday evening you'll be racing at Talladega. What are your thoughts going into it?
Wild card. That's the main thought. And also survive. It's not going to be one where you're going to be like, let's go get stage points. It's going to be one where you are like, let's go finish the race. But I want stage points. I want to try keeping my championship position locked, and I don't know. It's gonna be really hard to tell because it's Talladega. So you'll just play it as it goes. Try to run the inside so I can avoid all the incidents, and I need to get to the apron.
Yeah, fresh off that Roval win, have a lot of points going into Dega. Best of luck there. But Thursday, you also see we're headed to the Martinsville Speedway, just ahead of the Valley Star Credit Union 300. This is the Sarah 1-8 Racing Media National Tour Martinsville 300, brought to you by RJ Williams Management. Should be a lot of fun on Thursday evening, September the 26th. Late model stock cars at Martinsville. for 200 laps right before they do it for the real thing on Saturday at Martinsville, and I'll be there. So if anybody's at Martinsville this weekend, come say hi. I'll be there working. Should be fun for the Valley Star Credit Union 300. My third year of working that race, going to be exciting for sure. Sunday, you see Kansas Speedway. We loop back around. That'll be the elimination race here for the round of 12 for the Icon Cup Series when we cut down from 12 to 8 for this championship fight. Down below, there's all kinds of places to watch, Pit Stop TV, all kinds of places to follow what's going on here.
Yeah, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. Make sure you go and give them all a peek because it's greatly appreciated in the channel.
That'll do it for us this evening from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Thanks for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. Want to give a big nod to our partners with the channel. You saw them a couple of times throughout. Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Beezus, and Cody Williams Design, helping us look good, go fast, and everything else that we need to get to and from the virtual racetrack. That'll be it for us. Once again from Bristol, thanks for tuning in. We will see you all next time out when the Icon Cup Series goes to Kansas. Otherwise, make sure to tune in Tuesday evening for the BRB Butt Kicker Cup Series from Talladega. We'll see you there.